Hello, everyone. I hope you are having a good day. As Tristan alludes to, we do get to start with what I think is going to be a fairly epic puzzle, a collab between Niverio and grkles. I've done many in this series before. We'll talk about exactly what the rules of it are in a moment. But I somewhat tantalizingly I was told, quote, Zeta will either love this puzzle or hate this puzzle. So we'll see which it is. I am hoping for love, if I'm honest, but we'll see. I am in a good mood, so if that helps, that will be a good start. So we'll go over the rules of that in just a moment. I should do announcements first. So yes, either way, it'll be good content. That's certainly true. So it's funny, actually. More often than I'm comfortable with, people tell me they like when I don't like puzzles. I'm like, don't you want me to like the puzzles? But it might be better if I was just grumpy the whole time. I'm not sure. But anyway, announcements. So I was going to announce that I made my new puzzle and publish it. Which is 9 rooms. It was yesterday on Cracking the Cryptic on Simon. So I did a reaction to that as well. So if you want to do the puzzle, you could do the puzzle. If you want to watch Simon do the puzzle, you can do that. If you want to watch me watch Simon do the puzzle, you can do that. All of those are options that are available to you. So whichever of them you happen to like, go with that one. I should also note that we have a setting challenge underway. Which is this Sudoku challenge to set a puzzle that makes a mild twist on one of the fundamental rules of Sudoku in some fashion or another. The full description of that is over on the Discord, as is the submission thread. Submissions for that will be due on December 8th. Due makes it sound like I'm talking about an assignment. But if you want your submissions to be done on stream, get them in by December 8th. Be sure you have appropriately tested all of the puzzles, or be sure you have appropriately tested your puzzle before you submit it. Do note, it is 1 submission per person. However, if you want to do a collaborative thing, then you can figure out exactly how that works. Alrighty, I was pulling out some paper to write on because I suspect this puzzle is going to be a writer. Alrighty, what else was I going to say? I feel like I was going to say one more announcement thing, but if I had one more announcement, I do not remember. Oh, I guess I should probably, oh, that's right, that's right, the one I was like doing announcements to remember. On Sunday, we have a special guest, who is a taller than average feline. So if you are excited, I am excited. I have not been on a stream where Tall Cat was a guest in a long time, because the last time Tall Cat was on the channel, he was co-solving a puzzle with Tristan that was one of my puzzles, and the time before that, I had COVID, and so Tall Cat streamed with Tristan, even though I intended to be there. So I'm hopeful nothing will stop me from hanging out with Tall Cat and streaming some puzzles this Sunday. So that's just in 2 days. So we have that. Alrighty. Let's see. Oh, I also was going to mention that, and I don't think Tristan has updated this in the stream description yet, but Tristan can do that now. And that is that we've changed the way we're doing sort of setter permissions. Okay, so Tristan has changed it. So instead of telling us if you do want us to do your puzzles, we want you to tell us if you don't want us to do your puzzles. And so there's a link to do that. There were just too many people to keep track of whose puzzles we could do, and then I couldn't keep track of who was on the list, and it was pages long. And anyway, that resulted in basically, as I said last time, I just alternated between Niverio and Tall Cat puzzles because those were the only 2 I could keep in my mind that I knew I had permission to do. So with apologies to Niverio and Tall Cat, we have now reversed this policy so that I can do puzzles by other setters, many of whom were actually in the list anyway. But anyway, so we have that. Welcome, Dorlear. I hope you're doing well, and I hope the baby and mother are doing well as well. Oh, biologist quackers. I can't wait to see biologist quackers. The biologist quackers will be great. Uh, anyway, nevertheless, if you are a newer setter, or if you are a setter where I might not know about your puzzles or whatever, and you want to say, hey, if you want to have a look at some of these puzzles and see if there's any of them you want to do, or hey, I hang around the stream and I think you'd really like this puzzle, I'm always happy to hear that. In particular, I'm very happy to hear from anyone who I see in chat regularly who thinks based on my tastes, there is a puzzle that I will particularly like of another setter. So we have that. Wow, Plonk Time has donated $50 with Happy Black Friday. Thank you, Plonk Time. Thank you. Let us get you a donation dance. Let us get you a big one. Boo 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 doo boo 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 doo boo doo boo 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 doo boo doo boo boo. Woohoo! Boo doo boo doo boo 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 doo boo doo boo boo. Woohoo! Thank you, Plonk Time. Thank you, and happy Black Friday, everyone. Is Black Friday still different from Cyber Monday? I was looking at stuff, and it seems like basically the sales have just sort of bled out in every direction, but I no longer have a sense of where I am supposed to look for good deals. But yes, thank you so much for that donation. It really does mean a lot. We greatly appreciate all of our supporters. And speaking of supporters, it was through the generosity of supporters that this puzzle was chosen as the puzzle to start. And so the people who donate at the windmill or a level or above, they get to vote on puzzles. And by the way, we did just add 30 plus puzzles to the bucket. So if you are someone who votes on puzzles, you have some more to peruse to vote for. And so this puzzle was voted on by 10 supporters. We start with the one with the most votes. So Niverio, Nordy, Paulfly, Doomdiat, Luda, Nels, and Dari, Russ, Math Pesto, and David. Thank you so much for all of you. As David says, bring on democracy. So let us do that. Although I would not strictly necessarily want to make any political science claims that that letting the people who donate money vote is democratic. It might be the opposite of democratic. I'm not sure. You'd need to consult a political scientist. All right. So let's get started. So let's read the rule set. It is going to be nuts, I am told. So we have ambiguous XV Kropki pairs. So the grid is cluttered with 4 differently colored dots. I see that. The 4 dots represent the 4 constraints of white dot, black dot, V, and X. So one of them means consecutive, one of them means ratio of 2 to 1, one of them means sum to 10, and one of them means sum to 5. Which is to be determined by the solver. We also have constraint quads. So we have things like this, like you would not normally see a black dot, for example, in this position. But a constraint appearing in a quad circle must obey the following rules. If the constraint quad is placed at the corner of a cell border, the constraint in the quad must be placed into at least one of the 4 surrounding cells. I see. So placed at the corner. If a constraint quad is placed at the edge of a cell border. Isn't it the edge of a cell border isn't this the edge of a cell border? That's just the regular one, right? How is this different? Because I understand what the first one means. Is this just repeating the first one a second time? Is this repeating the rules I already know? It's not different. It's just repeating. Okay. Okay, so the second one is the same as the first rule that we did. So this is the first rule, this is the second rule, and this is the third rule, but the third rule is just the same as the first rule. Okay, that I understand. And the first one here is just saying that there's a green dot somewhere in there, or there to be determined by us. So we have that. Okay. I'm not 100% sure that I feel like I would have worded this very differently, but that's okay. The gray dot can represent any color, which makes this clue hilarious. because this clue literally means that in one of these 4 pairs of cells, either they're consecutive or sum to 5 or have a ratio of 2 to 1. Throwing grkles under the bus, I see. I love it. I love it already. But this gray circle clue is hilarious to me. I adore it with all my heart already. Okay. So before we can do a whole lot of anything in this thing. Yeah, I should stress, by the way, this puzzle is by Niverio and grkles. Oh, if this gray circle doesn't do anything, I'm gonna hate it. Just so we're clear, if this gray circle is only here because there's a yellow circle over here, I'm gonna be mad. But if it's providing the information that I think it is, that one of these 17 facts is true, like literally there are 16 possible things that this could be saying, and it is saying that one of those 16 things is true, I will love it. In fact, I want Niverio to set a puzzle with only these gray quadruple clues. Let's go for that. That can be the next puzzle that Niverio sets. Okay, so I'm scanning to see if there is if there's anything that immediately can't be V. And I think yellow immediately can't be V because there's only 2 valid Vs. And so this box has a total of 2.5 Vs on it. So yellow, I at least know is not V, and green, I know is not V. So yellow, not V. I'm writing this in front of me just because I know from experience I'm going to forget this. Green is not V for sure. So that is helpful, I guess. So one of blue and red is V. So this digit is always low because one of blue and red is V, and this digit is on a blue and a red. So this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, the smallest of deductions, but it's true. Well, it's saying at least one out of these 16 possible statements is true. It doesn't have to be exactly one. It could be more than one of the 16 things, Peter. Let's see. Is there anywhere else where I know? I mean, I guess I know there's 2 low digits around here. If red over here would be like if red is that, it's going to create some interesting things over here. Now, all of these have some sort of implications for low digits because except for white dots, everything has everything requires at least one low digit. If I have a black dot, I need a low digit. If I have an X, I need a low digit. And so I could try counting low digits in like these columns, but I don't think it's going to get anywhere positive. It might eventually. Let's see. So it is true. What Selena says is that column 5 is going to be a problem. That if this is the V, because if this is V, then that would be V, and then these 2 digits would have to go exactly here. But I don't see if that's immediately a problem for any reason. But if red is V, it is going to create a huge issue, potentially. So is it possible I can make this work with only one low digit amongst all of those cells? I think so. I believe so, unfortunately. If these are both low, I guess that's not even that restricted because of this weird double quad thing. Now, an interesting note is that in this sort of diamondy structure, uh, this cell can't be involved in the dot if it's an X or a V. I guess V we already know it isn't. But if it's an X, there's only one companion that sums to 10, and so that companion can't be here. So, oh, I guess I could do something like that and that. Never mind. Sorry, I was saying something that already was not true, because it could be that these two sum to 10 and these two sum to 10. That would be totally okay. So never mind. I retract my previous claim about that. It was incorrect. Let's see. Okay, so we still need, let's see, is there any other things I should be looking at other than V's? There's X's, of which there are 4 different X's. So if green or yellow is X, that means we've got 3 of the 4 ways to sum to 10 up here, or 3 of the 4 ways to sum to 10 down here, which is not, I mean, it's not a shocking revelation or anything like that. The one that's white dot, I think, is completely useless. I think that is the one that's going to be dictated by other things. And the other is that black dot is also somewhat constrained. Now, 5s are pretty interesting. Okay, so I should think about 5s in this box is the point. Because 5 in this box is definitely on a red or a green dot. Because every cell in this box... Oh, no, sorry, never mind. Sorry, that doesn't work. 5 being here doesn't mean it's part of the clue. So that, never mind. That is not actually useful. But 5s are somewhat constrained because you can't put them on V's, X's, or black dots. Okay. If red is V, then we know we've got our lows here. Why couldn't there be a low here that did that, Selena? I don't think oh, because the box 8 one, right, sorry, right. So if red is V, we're just imagining this, then these 2 cells can't be low because these 2 cells see every one of 1, 2, 3, 4, because there's only 2 ways to make 5 and they use all of 1, 2, 3, 4. So these would be the other 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the blue would have to be white dot because it would have no lows. And then these 2 red digits would end up over here somewhere by Sudoku, because these 2 red digits would be those 2 red digits. And these 2 would be these 2, and then those 2 would end up over here somewhere, but that all works out, I think, pretty okay. But the point is that would mean that this would be 4 and 5, just to do that. And I think that breaks because I can't have 5 on a green dot. Yep, I agree. I'm trying to decide if I should be generous and try and find a better way to do that, or if I should assume that that's exactly what was intended. It's not the actual worst thing I've ever seen in a puzzle, but I'm wondering if there's a nicer way to see it than that. There probably is. But it's very natural. So it's a very natural bifurcation to do, because you know that one of red and blue is V, and there's a lot of reds. And so it's a very natural look ahead to do, and it's not the worst look ahead I've ever seen. I'm mostly just curious if there's a different way to see it that isn't that it puts 5 on a dot that you know isn't a white dot. Uh, uh, okay, so yeah, so a way to think about it that Niverio says that I think is useful is that I know a priori these aren't 5. So a priori I can corner mark 5 into one of these cells. And so that tells me that when I think about what's going to happen up here, I now am not going to go through 5 when I go up here. So I can't. So that sort of makes it one step quicker to do this. Uh, so that's interesting as well. Also puts white dot out of red and blue. Do I believe that? I know there's going to be I know there's going to be all the lows are going to be over here. Right. So yeah, so all the lows are going to be over here. All the lows are going to be over here, which means that if either of these were white dot, it would break. So yeah, so I agree with that, and so that does so blue and red are not white dot. And in fact, blue we just know is now a V. Okay, so these are, but at least sort of from this, we'd know those aren't white dots. Okay, I'm glad we looked at this closer because this is a very cool sort of combination of things that feel better to me. I think a lot of solvers will like the straight up 6-step look ahead. And as I said, I don't think it's a terrible look ahead by any means to see that red can't be V. Uh, but I like the way Niverio has outlined this much better because it has sort of involved thinking about uh, global things. And in particular, the 5 getting ruled out of here and what that does to white dots is very cool. Okay. But the point is blue is V. Because as noted, if red was V, then we would have this issue based on this pair here down here. If red was V, it would put the low digits in this box over here, and there would be nothing for this to be in that instance. Because why was that again? Why was it that this was a problem? I have forgotten why this was a problem anymore. As the other blue dot in row 2 has to be a white dot now. Why was that? I believed it at the time. But I don't understand it anymore. Oh, right. The blue quad has to be right. So this has no lows, so it has to be a white dot in this universe. And that's the problem. And so that doesn't work because we know blue's not white dot. Okay, so anyway, the point is blue is V. So we get a 1, 2, 3, 4 here. We get a 1, 2, 3, 4 here. For sure. We get 2 1, 2, 3, 4s there for whatever it is worth. This row has become kind of interesting. Yeah, all of these cells are from 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 now. Because that one's not 5, we know. Because we know the other V is over here. for what it's worth. We don't know where it is, but it goes somewhere. It probably doesn't go there, if I'm being honest. Oh yeah, definitely doesn't go this way for what it's worth, because if it went that way, that would eat up all the lows in the column, because there would be a low here for sure. So at the very least, I can say this is not the way the blue V goes. I wonder if I could do a similar thing with this to argue that the blue V has to be horizontal. Not that I immediately see. Not immediately anyway. It could be. So red is not white dot and not V. So red is X or black dot. For what it is worth. Oh, if I put the 1, 2, 3, 4s over here, we repeat the problem in the break-in. Right. Carl has a good eye for that. Yeah, if I put the 1, 2, 3, 4 over here, now this is a red thing with no low digits on it. I just have to think about this box rather than the column, which is where my brain was sort of naturally inclined to go. So there is definitely a horizontal V. And our only question now is where the horizontal V is going to go. Now, I'd love if it broke if the horizontal V was there. But I don't immediately see why that would break. So red is only black dot or X. I should recall. Yeah, this is a pencil puzzle X. It means I'm not later going to draw a blue line that does that to indicate where the blue dot is. I'm going to either draw that one or that one. And I suspect this one breaks, but I don't think I know enough information to conclude that yet. But I probably do know enough information to think about what happens in this column with low digits. Because I know one of these two is low, because one of these is a V. So that's one low. That's two lows. Three lows there. For sure, because so there's only one low to go around in all of these digits. Now, because of stupid white dot being around, it's not necessarily a problem that I only get one low to go in all of these digits. Somewhat irksomely. Yep, I do not know. That does say row 7, column 5 is high. I agree with Ambrose because I said 1, 2, 3, 4. So therefore, this is always high, or 5. Oh, it can't be 5 because of the fact that 5 would be on 2 dots. So we have that. Okay, and so one of these two is low, or whatever that is worth, at least. Selena says 5 in column 5 is in column 5. Good. I think Selena might have meant is in box 5, but I'm not sure. But if we do contemplate where 5 goes, it doesn't go in any of these cells. It certainly doesn't go there. So 5 certainly goes in one of those places. For whatever that is worth. Uh, Ximena, if that's true, I don't know it yet. Uh, Thank you, Playmaker. Thank you. A lot of people have told me that it was a very weird puzzle, which I appreciated. Uh, let's see. So at least one of these two is low. Uh, uh, is an interesting observation that kind of starts to make me think yellow is going to be white dot, but I'm not quite there yet. At least as far as I am able to discern. Uh, uh, hmm. Okay, so let me just write down for myself. Yellow is still white dot, black dot, or X. And same with green. Uh, uh, okay, Josh says the other is, oh no, Josh said this too long ago for me to read what that says. It says the other is high, but I have no idea what we're talking about. I liked JoJo's idea of trying to rule out a second horizontal V, by the way. I read that but didn't say it out loud. But I don't think we can rule out a second horizontal V. Actually, I think we can. Well, sorry. We can rule out that this is a V. Because if this is a V, then it makes green dot into white dot. And then yellow dot is broken. So at least these two don't sum to 5, we can say. Those two, I'm not quite so sure. Let's see. Josh says exactly one of these is low. If they were both low, it would mean both of these were high, which would mean this was white dot. Right. Right. Okay. So yeah. So if these are both low, then yellow is white dot. Well, I mean, it's much easier than that. If you look at our list, which I acknowledge that you as the viewer do not have, but white dot is definitely yellow or green. And so as white dot is yellow or green, the thing that is white dot with this is a 5 or higher. So exactly one of these is from 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I agree with that assessment. And the other is from 5, 6, 7, 8. Which unfortunately is exactly enough to tell us nothing, I think. If I am correct. So yeah, there's a low here in one of those two cells. But then I don't know beyond that. I do still need a low in here somewhere for what it's worth. Let's see. The row 1 thing keeps drawing my attention. Can you have 2 black pairs in a row with V? Okay, so This is one of my least favorite types of deductions, I'll say. But by exhaustion, if you have a V in a row, you can't have two black dots. Because if you have a 1-4, that leaves only 3-6. And if you have a 2-3, that leaves only 4-8. So yellow can't be black dot. And so that cuts off one of the options for yellow. So yellow is now down to white dot or X for whatever that is worth. So black dot is green or red. Let's see. I'm sure that it is going to be useful at some point. So I guess Niverio is encouraging us to case check this. And think about whether this can really be 1-4 and whether it can really be 2-3 and what it has to look like in those two. Hey, MusicCuber, how are you doing? So if this is 1-4, the black dot in the row has to be 3-6. So this would have to be 6. Wait, did that immediately break? Oh, okay, sorry. Niverio is suggesting not to do that. Okay. So does that mean the deduction here was unnecessary with the black dots? Was that it is needed. Okay. So we're allowed like one level of case checking, but not two levels of case checking. Well, that's what I was thinking, was probably if I force this, I bet I could force this in only one way if I actually look at what the two V options actually are. Let's see. If red is black dot, okay, so Carl says if red is black dot, this is a 3-4. And one of these is a 3-4. Oh, not necessarily. These could be a 1-2 pair. And if red is black dot, yeah, so I think we have to really be careful that we know exactly one of these two is low. And so just by math on the column. And so if red is black dot, these are a 3-4 pair, which then forces this to be 1-2 as the only remaining black dot, and now there's no lows left. So yeah, that does break. This is not a red X. This is a blue X, Carl. But it is true. If red is black dot, then we run into issues here because this needs to be a high and a low. And so it would need to involve a 3-4. That would be a 3-4. These would only be able to be 1-2, and that would be all the lows for the column. So red is not black dot either, which means red is X. Which means finally that yellow is white dot, and green is black dot. Okay. So yellow is white dot, so therefore this is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And green is black dot, so this could be anything. Red is X. Sure. Let's see. Yellow, again, let's see. Yellow is, again, white dot. So this bunch of yellow doesn't mean anything. Green is black dot. So this bunch of green should mean something. So I guess I could have a string of... So I don't think this can be from... Well, it certainly can't be 2 or 4. Right? Oh, no, that's still fine. Yeah, it could still be 2 or 4, because then I'd still have 2 ways to make green. Okay, I should think about the fact that I know, again, one of these two is a V, and see if now the fact that one of these two is a V, if that would break red somehow. I don't think so. If this was the V, that would be the X. That would be the red X. Would it break this gray dot? How are you doing, Alethana? It's been so long since I've seen you around, but I'm glad to have you here. Okay, and green is black dot. Row 7, column 5 is now on a green and a yellow, which are a black dot and a white dot. So this isn't 7 or 9, and the black dot is green. So this is a 3 or a 4. This is a 5, 7, or 9, which actually is getting us suspiciously close to a quintuple in the column. I said I wonder if it breaks this gray dot. So I think you came back in like half a thing, or in the middle of an idea. Okay, and yellow is white dot. Okay, so yeah, so we've got 3 lows here. So we have at most 1 low on this yellow. Can it really be 4, 5 though? Or is 4, 5 broken? Right. The remaining low in this row is a 1, 2 is the point. Because we've used a 3, 4 here, and there's definitely a 3, 4 here. So the remaining low is a 1, 2. So these are from 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Which gives us, again, sort of a bunch of our highs, but not all of them. This green dot is a black dot, and we only have 1 low to go through here. So there's definitely a 3, 4, 6, 8 sort of pattern, Ambrose points out. which does give us a virtual 6-8 pair looking down at this red X. And so there's not a 6 or an 8 on this red X. So this is 1, 9, or 3, 7. Hey, Karen. Hope you're doing well. Uh, oh, wait, could it really be 3, 7? I guess is a good question. So it's 3, 7. This would be 4, 8, 9. Is it going to break the red X over here or something? I don't really want to pencil mark that. It sees a 3, 4 pair. Oh, that's glorious. Okay. That is my favorite deduction of the puzzle so far by far. That is the that is the Zeta absolutely loves it deduction of the puzzle. This 6, 8 is not on this black dot. So this black dot and this black dot are different. And both of them have a 3, 4, so they're different 3, 4s, and therefore there's no 3 here. So this is 1, 9. So that is not 9. So it is 5 or 7. That was very slick. Hey, Ranks, how are you doing? This isn't 1, so that's not 4 now. And red dot is X. So that's not 1, so that's not 9 anymore. If that's not 9, I don't think that tells me anything. This goes over here into a green dot place. The way this interacts with the green dots is interesting, but I'm being very cautious of the fact that I could still do something like that. Ranks, we know all the dots. So yellow is always white dot, green is black dot, blue is V, and red is X. Let's see. Trying to decide if one of these is going to break. So if this was the X, it would be a 3, 7 pair because it's the only thing it could possibly be. Does this being a 3, 7 pair break? If this is a 3, 7 pair, it makes this a 4 and a 1 and a 6 and a 2, which would put a 4, 8 and a 3, 6 over here. Not obviously. Oh yeah, that is horrible but beautiful spotting, Selena. I can't make this the red X because if so, I can't put 2 in the column because in making this 3, 7, that no longer can be 2 because it's on a V that can't have a 3 on it. And this no longer can be 2 because it's on a white dot, the opposite side of which can't have a 3 on it anymore either. So this is neither the red X nor this is neither the red nor the blue. So I'm going to make that in a way that will be unambiguous and clear to everyone. I'm going to make it a black X, meaning that it's not either. And this certainly isn't the red X either. So the red X is horizontal. And so one of these is an X running into a V. So there is an X running into a V in one of these rows. Assuredly, now this must break the red dot if it's down here, right? If this was an X running into a V, then would this really break this? I have no idea because this could still be yellow. The fact that this could be yellow suggests to me it's going to be really hard to break this dot. Okay. Ambrose has a much easier way of seeing that this breaks that isn't about the 2, which is noting that if I did this as 3, 7, then this would be 4, and that's using the 3 and the 4 in the column, which breaks this black dot. That's more saying it in a way that Zeta likes than the other way. Okay, I'm being told this can only be 5 or 7 because there's a low here, a low here, a low here, and a low here. Right, okay, so this is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But it is very festive at Lima. This is my favorite standard Niverio series. Although I did really like, maybe I shouldn't say that, I really liked the J-Sum series with the coral puzzle. Although maybe I liked the coral puzzle disproportionately more than the rest of them. This can't be a 9 because there's a 9 in the column. This can't be an 8 because 8 is not consecutive with any of these numbers. This can't be a 6 because 6 isn't consecutive with any of these numbers. Because the V here is horizontal, and so it always puts a low in one of those two, is what we know ranks. So there's a 5 or a 7 here, is sort of the remaining digit. And we still have, if I don't put the 2 here, then the 2 goes there. It is true, as Ranks points out, the better way to say that is one of this mess is a 2, so this is never a 2. And so this is never a 3, actually. And so this is a 2 or a 6 always. Oh, right. This isn't 7 anymore. So this is 6 or 8. So this is 5, 7, or 9. We did not prove that neither of these is 3. At least I did not prove it. If someone else proved it, they are welcome to tell me. Oh. Wow, okay, Ranks is right, yeah. So if I do put 3 in here, I put a 2 there, and then column 5 doesn't have a 2 anymore. Right, so these can't be 3 because of the 2 corner marks. That is a very good spot to Ranks. So that means that the 3 is over here, and that looks down, which gives us our first digit here, which is a 4. Woohoo! Woohoo! Thank you, Zach. You cannot do V vertically because that's what these X's mean. So 4, 8, 7. These are 3, 6 now. 3 is not consecutive with 5 or 7, so that's a 6 and a 3. Annoyingly, that can be anything still. These aren't 7 or 8, so they're not 9 for sure. So those are 5, 6. These aren't 1 or 4, so they're 2, 3. So these are a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And these are a 1, 9 pair for sure. These are some digits. Let's fill in what the digits are. They are a 5 or a 7 and a 2 and a 4. Okay, so there is a 1, 3 virtual pair over in this column for what it's worth. So the 1, 3 doesn't go there, so it goes there. The 3 goes in one of these cells down here just by Sudoku. Let's see. This is a valid green dot, says Sayori. because it can't be anything else because of the other thing. Sorry, this is the wrong color. This is a valid green dot because green dot is black dot, remember? So these are from 1, 2, 4, 8. Let's see. These reds are X's. For whatever works. This is always 1, 4. The V here, Chad is pointing out, it's always 1, 4. So there's always a 4 in one of these two cells, because the 3 sees the entire places where you could put a 3. So there's always a 4, which rules 4, 8 off of these. So these are in fact a 1, 2 pair. And so the 1, 4, its 1 goes there always. And one of these two is a 4. These certainly aren't 1, 9, but the 9 could still fit in there. That would be okay. Let's see. It does not have to... Oh, right. Sorry. It can't go diagonally. Right. The rules. It's not just saying 2 of these. My brain originally internalized that diagonals were okay, but diagonals actually aren't okay. So that is a 4 because of needing to do that. So funnily enough, the X is not 4, 6 because there's no 6 on this. So the X goes somewhere or another. That's definitely part of the X. I know that there's for sure a 7 or an 8 in those cells. I'm being told somehow it's not 3, 7, but I don't know how. Let's see. I'm just doing a quick survey of green dot digits that are left in this box, which are 2 and 3. So this black dot doesn't have a 1 or a 4 on it. So if this black dot doesn't have a 1 or a 4 on it, it needs a 3 and a 6 on it. So there's definitely a 6 in one of all of these cells. But I don't know quite what to do with it. Yeah, that's why I said there's a 7 or an 8 here, Ransk. Is because of the fact, and I can just go ahead and mark it just so that people can see what Ranks is saying. So this isn't 6 or 7. This isn't 6. That's not 9. But this needs to pair up with that to grab one of the low digits. And yeah, similarly, there needs to be a low digit in one of these cells. If this is low, it can only be a 2. If this is low, it can only be a 3 or a 4. So either that's a 2 or this is a 3 or a 4 is what we get. These digits are high for sure because they see 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm just going to go ahead and fill them in as 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, although I don't think it's going to do anything. Let's see. Alathana says there's a quad in column 4. There sure is. Love to see that, because that's going to immediately tell me there's a 6 over here, because these are from 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, and so those aren't 3. Those aren't 4. So there's a 3 here and a 6 here. For what it is worth. I don't understand, Sayori, what you're claiming. I do have a 1-9 pair here. That's very helpful. So these are a 2, 3. So those aren't 2. That is wise. So these I know what they are. 1, 2, 3, 4. These are 5 and 6. So in here is an honest black dot. Oh, no, there could be a 3 here. Never mind. There could be a 3 to go with a 6. Darn it. It's either that or these are from 1, 2, 4, 8. Okay, so the point is this is always involved in the black dot because we said this 4 is not, involved in the X. This 4 is not involved in the X because it would go with a 6. So this is involved no matter what. And so it can't be 4, 6 for the reasons we just said. So Sayori's point is that that's a 1 and that's a 4. And there's a 9 in one of these two spots. There's a 4 over here somewhere. Ranks seeing that the 9s here mean that these cells can't be 9, because one of these is a 9 going with a 1, so these cells can't be 9, so I should mark this and kick 9 out, and remove 9 from these as well. I suppose really what that ultimately says is that 9 in this row is in one of these two cells, because that also can't be a 9, and so when I pencil mark this, it also can't be a 9. It can't be a 5 either because there's a 5, 6 pair looking at it from below. Speaking of, those can't be 5 either. Let's see. So if this is the low digit, that's a 2 and that's an 8. Otherwise, this is the low digit. Oh, I don't think this can be a... Oh, it could be a 4 with a 6 below it. Never mind. Corner mark the 5s in box 2? Isn't it all of them? People have seen a thing I have not with 5s that can be removed from box 2. The 5, 6 pair. Oh, I didn't even see those were still there. Yep, you're right. There were 5 corner marks living here. I was thinking that these are the only 5 corner marks I was even looking at. Okay. So yeah, one of these two's a 9. Garion pointing out that these two are definitely not consecutive. These two are definitely not consecutive. And so this, therefore, is consecutive either with that or with that. So in particular, it's never a 5. And so maybe that doesn't tell us anything, but it's true. It is worth noting. That one of these is correct. Rank's just thinking about sort of what pairs are possible here. And so 1 and 7 are not a valid arrangement of any kind, so I can blacken this X. And so if this were 7, 2, then that wouldn't be a valid anything. So if this is anything at 7, 3, I don't understand why, given that this can be 7-3, I don't understand what the problem is. Oh, the 3 has to go next to a 6? But so what? The 3 goes next to a 6 and goes with a 7. Isn't that fine? What's... I mean, if the 3 is here, this gray dot's already happy. Yeah, if this is a 3, it's already happy. Let's see. Niverio really wants us to look at row 6 some more. Is it something like it break? So this can't ever be 7-8 because I know there's a 7 or an 8 over here. So that is worth remembering. So this is not 7-8. So if these two are consecutive, it has to be either 9-8, or something 9-8 or 6-7. I don't think it's a virtual 7-8 pair because this could be... Oh, no, it is a virtual 7-8 pair. Because either this is the white dot or this is the white dot. And so either this just is an 8 or one of these is 7 or 8. One of these is 7 or 8. So this is never 8. Okay, I agree. That is where both 7-8s go in the row. That is Ambrose's point. So this is always a 5 or a 9, which now, if I look at the column, has now pushed the 8 up here, which is huge. No, it's not. Never mind. Never mind. It is not even mildly interesting. So we've got that. That's a good spot from Carl. If this was an 8, the dot can't be that one, so it'd have to be this one, but that would make it 8-7, and that doesn't work. So this is not the 8. This is a 7 or a 9, which gives us a 5-7-9 triple, giving us a 2-8 pair, giving us a, let's see, a 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9 mess up here. So is this always a 4 because of the red dot? Is that what Sayori is saying? Because the 7-9 certainly not involved in a red dot. Oh, this could be involved in a red dot if that's a 6 and that's a 3. So this is always a 3 or a 4, right? Because if it's connecting with this cell below it, it's a 4 or a 3. And if it's connecting with the cell to its left, it's only a 4. So I think this cell is always a 3 or a 4, but I don't know that that really does anything immediately. But it's a very good observation. I hadn't appreciated how restricted this was. So good spotting. Oh, red is not even black dot. Never mind. Sorry. Never mind. Red is X. So it is true that these two don't X each other. These two don't X each other. So this is definitely involved in the X, which means it's either a 2-8. Oh, it's not. So it could never be a 2. So if it's going over here, it's an 8. And if it's going down here, it's a 3 or a 4. So I think this can be 3, 4, or 8. Because this is only 7 or 9, Carl points out that this has to be even, so it's not 7 anymore. It's a 6 or an 8. I don't know, Jennifer. Why can't this be 6, 7 with the 8 over here? Right, because this needs to be part of the X, Ambrose points out. So this can't be 3 anymore. It's now only 4 or 8. This white dot's getting a little restricted because those two can't be 5, 6. Let's see. So it always is 6 based on the cell above. Oh, wow. Yes, this is always 6. That's beautiful, Ambrose. So if this is a 4 above, then that's a 6 to make the X work. If this is an 8 above, this is a 6 to make Sudoku work. So this is always a 6. And now as soon as that's a 6, that means my yellow thing is over here. Which makes that a 5 and a 9. So one of these is 2, 8 for what it is worth. My red dot, right, I don't know which way my red runs yet. Let's see. So this is a 2 now. And green is black, so that's a 1 and a 4. So 1 and 7, 4 and 5. Those aren't 9 anymore. Oh, 4 red dots 6. Doesn't white dot 9. So these are 5, 8. Let's see. I can get rid of all the corner marks here, really. Just for sanity. It is true. There's no longer a green combination here. So I can just put an X there. Because the only green combination would be 4, 8, but it would break that cell. So I know there's a 3, 6 and a 4, 8 in here. So I know that this digit is not 3, 6, 4, or 8. So if I just sort of mark this, it's not 3, 6, 4, or 8, because those all have to go on the green dots, because those are the only black dots you can make. This isn't 5 either. So this cell is either 1, 9, or 3 exactly. So one of these rows is exactly 8, 2, 3. I don't see that either of these immediately breaks with 8, 2, 3, but it wouldn't shock me if it were so. Oops. No 6s there anymore. This is not 4, 6, or 8. Selena was actually talking about this one, which is worth noting, which is that now this, by the same logic, sees 2, and it can't be 4, 8, so it has to be 3, 6 in here. So there's a 3 down here. So none of these are 3. 8, 2, 3 means the other is 5, 7, 9. And so the 5, 7, 9 can't look at this, is Niverio's point. So that's the 5, 7, 9. That's the 8, 2, 3. So now this is 1, 9. That is not an 8. the one's definitely not involved in a green dottage incident. So that that green dottage incident is, or that's not the green dot either. Oh, this is certainly not the 4 now in the green dot. So that is because it would need to go with an 8 in this box, and it's not allowed to. So these are either 3, 6, or 4, 8. Yeah, these are 3, 6, or 4, 8 for sure. And this is 3, 6, or 4. Oops, 3, 6, or 4, 8. And this is 3, 6, or 4, 8 because it is involved, whichever this is. 4, 8. And it's not 4 or 6. And 3 won't go with 6. 8 won't go with 4. So this green always goes down. So this is always a green dot, meaning that this digit is either a 4 or a 6 to make that all work. For what it is worth. So this cell has to be very restricted because the 4 and the 1 are gone. So this is legitimately only 5, 7. This can't be a 6, apparently. I think if that can't be a 6, this can't be a 3, right? Because the 3 would need to be in a 3, 6, and it can't be. So so that can't be so it could be a 6, so that can't be a 3. Let's see. Do I want to sort of fill in the rest of this? I have 3 penciled down here at the bottom, so that's really helpful. So this is a 4 or an 8. Thank you, thank you. So that's a 4, 8. And so that makes this 3, 6. 3, 6, 8, 4, 8. This is a digit. It is, oh, it's a 5 or a 7. Sorry, it's not an 8 or a 9. 5, 6 go in over there. These are just a pair because they're not 5, 7 anymore. They're unfortunately 8, 9, which just immediately works. So I guess this dot is here just for symmetry. Actually, no, sorry. We did use this dot for V breakage earlier. So these aren't 8 or 4. So those are from 1, 2, 3. These aren't 9 or 1. So there can't be a 7 on... Oh, no, sorry. There could be a 7 with a 6. No, I can't do a 7 with a 6. Right. There can't be a 7 on this dot at all because a 7 on this dot could only go with a 3 or a 6. But if it goes with a 6, I create a 5, 6, 7 oople in the row. Or I guess phrased differently, there's definitely a 4 on this dot just by Sudoku. That's probably a better way to say it. And so 4 goes with 5 or with 6. It never goes with 7. So that is a way to say that. This, let's see, 8 in column 3, I'm being encouraged to look at. 8 in column 3 is definitely down here. I agree. And sorry, and this is not a 6, actually, just by our corner marks. So that is actually a 5, 7 pair, which actually tells me this is a 4, 6 pair. But also, the 8 in column 3 spot is well taken because of the 5, 8 pair. So this is a 6, 8. Is the point from several folks in chat, including Ranks and Ambrose, and possibly others. These are some stuff that don't include 6 or 8, and don't include 7 or 5 either. So these are from 2, 3, 9. They definitely include a 9. 5 in column 7. 5 in column 7, very nice, because that can't be a 5, and there's a 5 in this box. So that is a 5 and a 7 and a 5 and a 7. So yeah, that 7 could end up going with that 4, 6 over there. That would be okay. As far as I can tell, this column is a triple left, so let's fill it in. Because we've already got the 4, 8 pair in the column, so these aren't 8 or 4. So they are 1, 3, 7. This one can't be 3 because there's a 3 corner marked down there. And this one can't be 1 because there's a 1, 2 pair. So this is actually a 7. And these are a 1, 3 pair. For whatever that is worth. So one of these two is a 3, but I don't think I know which one yet. So this yellow is now interesting because now this is definitely not a valid yellow. And this is now definitely not a valid yellow. So that means this is a valid yellow. And so, therefore, this is a 5 and a 6. The 3 was there to go with the 6, so that's a 1, making that a 9 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and an 8 and a 6. So there we go over here. So that is a 4 and a 7. That makes that an 8 and a 4, which makes that an 8 and a 2, meaning that was the X all along. So that is an 8 and a 4. That is a 2 and an 8. That is a 1 and a 2. That is a 9 and a 1. That is a bunch of stuff. So that is a 9 and a 3 and a 5 and a 2 and a 3. No 2s down here for lots of reasons. No 4s or 7s down here. That is a 9 by lots of things. Here's some stuff to go in. So 3 and 7 are famously not consecutive. And 1, 2, and 4, 6 are famously not consecutive. So this is either 3, 2 or 7, 6. It is true we have a 2, 8 in the column that is worth noting. And so the question is, does one of the ways of doing 2, 8 break everything in the world? If this is 2, 8, it makes that a 1, 9, which would force this to be a 6. If this is 2, 8, it makes that a 2, and then it just works right away. Let's see. Okay, so yes, so if Garion has it. If this is a 1, it makes that a 6 and it breaks this cell. Because if this is a 1, then those aren't consecutive either, and so these have to be consecutive and they can't be 1, 6. So that is a 2 and a 1, 6 and a 1, 4 and a 6, 3 and a 2, 7 and a 4, a 3, and a something of unknown origin. So there's my 6 and my 7. Right, and the 2 needed to go with an 8 to make this red dot work. So that was an 8 and a 2. No, sorry. That was an 8 and a 5. That was a 9 and a 5. That was a 9 and an 8. And the bet tree is a 7. Whew! Well, I definitely didn't hate it. So if the prediction was, if it was love or hate, I definitely loved it. Although there were the proportion of deductions that were cool to me versus the proportion of deductions that were case checky was a little off for my personal taste. And the proportion of the puzzle that was left after you disambiguated the colors was also a little weird. So it was a good puzzle for me. I think it's a great puzzle design-wise. Like, I'm amazed that Niverio and grkles got this puzzle to work out as well as it did. Like, this is very cool. But it won't quite be my favorite Niverio puzzle of the year. I will spoil now. But this is a pretty epic construction, and I should of course fill in these. I really like these clue quads as an idea, although I wish they weren't ambiguous clue quads sort of at the start. But I like the idea of sort of figuring this out. Like, that was my favorite sort of really novel thing in the puzzle, was the sort of figuring out. And I wish it had been used more, because like there were all of these deductions about how like this thing has to go horizontal or this thing has to go vertical or whatever. And those things didn't really sort of hum in the way that I would have liked them to in the puzzle. But it's a really neat sort of, it's a neat building ground for if someone wants to play around with these sort of quads in the future. Because I think the whole horizontal versus vertical thing will be very interesting in that sort of case. Like, so that was definitely my favorite sort of new idea out of this puzzle, was the one of these four things is this relationship, and then sort of the playing around with that I found very cool. Of course, now I sort of like think you could have like a black dot and a V in here. If this was like an actual quad where you could write things in it, you could have like a black dot V in there, and then people could figure out like, are the black dot and the V sort of next to each other or parallel or whatever. That could be interesting as well. I don't know which of my I don't know which my Niv puzzle of the year will be. I can look in my notes and see what I think it is. I don't remember which one Onipian is. This is the problem with remembering, and this is why I take notes throughout the year on my favorite puzzles of the year, because I eventually do my favorite puzzles of the year list. And then I have to go back and remind myself what on earth the puzzles were that I have in the list. So I think the Renbound 10 lines puzzle was even this year, wasn't it? Let's see if I can dig up my my list. Let's see what is in here. Wow, there's no way. Was it really? Oh, sorry, no, never mind. Sorry, I was confusing that with something else. Let's see. I currently have, funnily enough, my current pick for my favorite Niverio puzzle of the year is the puzzle before this in the series. So the 4-star version of the candy puzzle was my go-to. Oh, am I missing? Oh, right. Plonk Time points out that 2-3 is there as well. That is also a valid one. So this was doubly fulfilled. Yeah, definitely having a negative constraint would be horrifying, I think. Let's see. Oh, 1, 2, right? 1, 2, right? You're right. That's true. 1 and 2 are consecutive. So this is like a length 3 line. Fascinating. That's very cool. But yeah, I loved that ambiguity. The sort of like rotational ambiguity I thought was very cool. All right. Well, I'm going to take a quick break, and then I will come back with another puzzle of some sort. So stay tuned, and I'll be back in a moment. Welcome back, everyone. I am back with a German Whispers Renbahn puzzle by Awadish. Avadish? I'm not quite sure exactly the pronunciation. Uh, but here we go. So these are rules that if you hang around the puzzle, or sorry, if you hang around the channel a lot, you will have seen a good deal of these rules. But along green lines, we have to make sure digits differ by at least 5. So, for example, 1 to 7 would be a difference of at least 5, so we could do that. And along purple lines, we need a string of consecutive digits. So something like 3, 4, 5, 7, 6 would do it, because this is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, but in some order. This example probably doesn't work well because of the Sudoku. Okay, I've plonked down a betting tree over here. And for reasons I'll explain in a second, I'm going to color all the low digits as blue and all the high digits as orange. So let us do that. And so the reason for that is that if you sort of go along a green line, you always bounce back and forth between a blue digit and an orange digit. And so the blue digits, just to be clear, are 1, 2, 3, 4, and the orange digits are 6, 7, 8, 9. So we've got that. So one thing I see in this box is that the 9 in this box can't go on the Renbahn. Because if the 9 goes on the Renbahn, then we'd need an 8 and we can't have it. So there's definitely a 9 in one of these two cells. Also, the Renbahn definitely needs a 5, and that 5 definitely goes in one of these two cells. It also needs a 4, actually. Could the 4 possibly go in one of these two cells? I don't see why not. Another thing I saw is that this Renbahn needs a 3 or an 8, because you can't make a length 5 Renbahn without 3 or 8, because 4, 5, 6, 7 is only 4, and the 3 or an 8 has to go there. But that's not immediately grabbing me. This Renbahn is quite interesting. I suppose because of these looking at it. So there's a high digit in these that's a 7 or a 9 that's ruled off of this Renbahn, which I guess doesn't tell me an enormous amount about this Renbahn, really. Plonktime pointing out that one of these two cells is a 5, just because you can't put a 5 on a green line. Because if you put a 5 on a green line, then you have issues. Let's see. See, people pointing out that I could do a little high-low coloring and sort of like fake colors. So I'll high-low color those in yellow and purple. And then these are a yellow-purple pair for sure. But I don't quite see what I'm getting out of that yet. These two are the same. These 3 are the same, actually. Which is very interesting. So these 3 are all 1 high-lowity. These are all 1 high-lowity. Oh, so yellow can't be blue. Because of this whisper. This whisper needs 2 lows on it. So yellow is high. And purple is blue. That's the point. So this box having that long of a whisper needs 2 lows, and so if I put 2 lows here, then that's too many lows. That is quite elegant. So this is only a 6 or a 7, which means this is only a 1 or a 2. And this one's certainly a 1 or a 2 as well, as Ranks points out. So those, in fact, are 1, 2, 3 only. So this cell is a naked high now. Oh, this is clever. Because now this cell sees a 4 in the column and 1, 2, 3 in the row. So it's a naked high, which means that's not a 9, which means our 9 is placed, and we get our first digit dance for the 9. Ba-boop-a-doop, wah! Ba-doop-a-doop, wah! Ba-doop-a-doop, wah! Thank you, Zach. Thank you. J40 points out there's a symmetrical thing going over here where these are the same, and if they were low, it would break this because of too many lows. So those are high, and these are low. Oh, by the way, that's high. So that's the last high for this box. So these are all low, actually. So that's going to let me color these. High, high, low, 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 low. Like that. These are a 1, 2 pair again. So this is a 6 or a 7. And so that's a 1 or a 2. These are certainly from 7, 8, 9. No, that one doesn't have to be from 7, 8, 9. That one could be 6. Let's see. Okay, so I know what's on this Renbon at least, because it goes 7, 6, 5, 4, 6, 5, 4, 3. And I know these aren't the 5s. Oh, this is not a length 5 Renbon. It's 5, 4, 3, 2. I've miscounted the length of this Renbon every time I've counted it. But fortunately, it has not bitten me. So that is not a 5 or a 4. Now, if this is a 4, that's a 9. Seems okay to me. This is only 1 or 3 just by the magic of Sudoku. Just for the record. Oh, there's only one place for 1 in this box, points out Carl, because there's not a 1 on this Renbon, so where does it go? It only goes there. Which is maybe a little bit disheartening because it tells me absolutely nothing about this, but what are you going to do? I don't know yet, is the answer. Let's see. These two are the same. These two are the same. Well, I know this is at least not low. So, because it sees an extra... Sorry, I know it's not high. So this is low or 5 for what it's worth. I can certainly fill in that this is a 7 or a 9. It's being pointed out this is a naked single, which is very helpful. It sees 6, 8, and 9. So that's a 7, which makes this a 1 or a 2. So that is helpful. If this were a 7, this would also be a 1 or a 2. So now this Renbon doesn't have a 7 on it. So it's from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 only. And of course, none of these are 6. This is not 1 or 2. That one's not 4. One's not 3 or 1 or 2, actually, if I look at the 1, 2, 3 looking at it. So we've got some stuff here. Oh, this 1, 2 isn't on it, points out Sayori. And so if this 1, 2 isn't on it, it can't have a 1 on it, because as soon as it had a 1 on it, it will also have a 2 on it. So none of those are 1 either. And so that actually forces it completely. It is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And because of that, that makes that a 1 to do there. If this is low, it's exactly a 3, funnily enough. Okay. This is a 6 or a 7. Pointed out by Garian, so this is a 1 or a 2. This Renbon can't have a 7 on it, so, and it can't have a 1 on it, so it needs to have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on it. And if it has 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on it, then that is a 7, and that's a 1. Is the punchline of what Garian was saying. So no 4 goes there. Oh, that's almost, but not quite a quadruple, I think. Yeah, that seems to be from 5 digits. Now, I know one of these two is the 3 because of that 3, which now resolves that that's a 4, which resolves that that's a 9. Which resolves that this is a 2 or 3, because that can't be a 4 anymore. And now this is a quint. This is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now the remaining digits in this box are 6, 7, 8, 9. Wait, no. Sorry, that's not a quint. No, it is a quint. I don't understand why. No, 1789 is the right number of digits. Sorry. I was convinced 1789 wasn't enough digits. But 1789, in fact, was enough digits. So yeah, so we get all of that. Okay, so there is a 9. No 4 goes there. I know the 3 in this column is down here. Oh yeah, why isn't that a 1? I don't know. Not for any good reason. Hey Jedier, how are you doing? Yeah, sorry. Chad is right. This could be a 1. In fact, chat claims it is a 1 just purely by Sudoku, which is correct. It is a 1 just by Sudoku. Which is a little tragic, really. That 1, too, by the way, looks over there. That 1, 2 down there looks down there. So yeah, so this can be 6, 7, or 8, and it doesn't really care. This is not a 4. So we've got all of that. These are all 5, 6, 7, 9, just for the record. Those are 5, 6, 9. So let's see. Sayori's interested in 4 and 5 in this box. So 4 can't go here by Sudoku, can't go here by German Whisper stuff. If that was a 4, that would need to be a 9, and it can't be. So can't go here because it's in the middle of a whisper. Can't go here because it's in the middle of a whisper. So the 4, in fact, goes here, and then the 5 goes there, because the 5 can't go on a green line. So 4 and 5. And so that is also a 5. So that is also a 5. Let us see. So this is now blue. So not a 4, 5. These aren't 5s. That's not 4 either. Those are a 2, 3 pair now, actually. So these aren't 2 or 3. Sorry, these aren't 2 or 3, which makes these a 4, 6 pair. Those a 3, 5 pair. And so this is a 2, is the upshot of all of that. So there is no 2 over there, no 2 there either. Now this can be a 3 or a 4. Oh, it's not a 3. This is a 4, is the point. Because it sees a 1, 2 in the column, and it sees a 3 corner marked here. So this is a 4, which means that's a 9, because 9 is the only thing that goes next to 4 on a German Whispers line. One of these is a 7, I'm going to note for the future. By putting a 4 in the cell, it won't be confusing at all, I promise. Uh, okay. So this is not 1 or 4, so it is 2 or 3. Let's see. Oh, this can't be a 5 because the 5 on this Renbon is in this column. If you look at it, these can't be 5. So one of these is 5, so that's not. So that's a 6. Which now makes these a 3-6 pair. Because I need a 6 on here as well. And now these are a 4-5 pair, so that's the 2. In whichever way you would want. So that's a 3, and that's a 2. So this is now a naked 9, because 9 is the only thing other than 8 that's far enough away from 3 to go next to a 3. So now that seems to be a 7 and a 5. Sure is. This is a 7 or 8. 7 or 8. This is a naked single something. Oh, that 4-5 pair, by the way, before I even fill in that naked single something, has done this. So naked single what? Naked single 9. Which means this is a 4. Let's see. We've used the 4 and the 5, so these are both high. Because we've used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right there. Oh, and that 3 has looked up, giving me the 6 and the 3 up here. Meaning this is not a 6, it is a 7 or an 8, as is that, which makes that a 6, which is then going to sort out the 4-6 business. 4, 6, 5, 4. If I do all of that. Let us paint some of these with pencil marks before we sort of progress to the second half of the puzzle. So that is an 8 and a 5. That is an orange and a blue. So that is a 7 and an 8. That is a 2. That has become a 7 and a 6 and a 7. 6 only goes next to 1. So that's 1, 2. That's a 9. Just by Sudoku. We've got our... Neither of these is a 2. But that's a 5 by Sudoku. This is an orange by Sudoku. One of these is a 6 by Sudoku, and it's not the one that's next to both a 1 and a 2. So that is the 6, and that's the 9, and that's the 1, and that's the 2. And that's the 7, and that's the 9. And it sort of feels like I'm probably going to be able to figure out what's happening here if I just mark everything else. Indeed, if I do, then I learn the high-lowity of both of these. So let me fill in that. Those are blue. These are orange. These are blue. That's orange. And so by counting, this is therefore blue. So these are both orange by counting. So this is blue by counting. So by counting, these are both orange. So that is blue and that is green. And we have finished our coloring. And we can commence the filling in of digits. Oops. By putting an 8 in a cell that I just marked as blue. 3 and 1. 3 and 2 and 8. And 1, 2, 7. 9, 8, 4, 6, and a 7 for the bet tree. So congratulations to all my 7 bettors out there. May all your betting tree wishes come true. That was a really nice puzzle. It actually was toothier than I thought it was going to be from looking at the grid with how many digits were in it. But the given digits actually were very clearly there to were very clearly carefully chosen to do that. Yeah, we needed these for the break-in for purposes of coloring. I suppose. Because we needed the fact that these were opposite colors, I think was part of the break-in. But yeah, that was really neat. There are lots of neat playing around with Renbon Sudoku kinds of things, and some neat whisper stuff. Like these W's are very powerful. I feel like I used a W shape like this in something recent. Oh, Funhouse. I had a W shape like this in Funhouse, where I got to appreciate how like dumping 3 of the same high-lowity digit in a row or column is quite potent. Uh, uh, yes, it does. It does. I can see why they called it something with scarab, because you can definitely see the scarab there in the image. But yeah, that was really neat. Neat setting there. All right, I'm going to stretch a bit, and I think I'm probably going to do one more puzzle. Today's going to be a slightly shorter stream because I did a bonus stream yesterday, and I'm still streaming on Sunday. But I'm still going to do one more puzzle. So don't worry, Paul Fly, you have not caught the end of the stream. More puzzle to come. Alrighty, welcome back. We are back with a diagonal IC2S style killer diagonal puzzle, but this time IC2S is joined by Florian Wortmann, so they co-set this. This appears to have appeared on Cracking the Cryptic solely based on the fact that I saw that there were almost 3,000 solves. So I'm going to guess that Simon did this one based on that information. But I'm going to do it anyway because I like IC2S and Florian both a great deal as setters. And so the way this works is just the digits in the cages sum to the total. So these sum to 16, and they don't repeat within cages, which is, I suspect, going to be very important here. I don't think it's going to be a set puzzle, but it could be. Stranger things have happened. I don't think I've ever done an IC2S puzzle or a Florian puzzle that has turned out to be a set puzzle. So there's a few gimmies here. So the 15 cage is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So these two digits, sorry, the 16 cage is 7, 9. And so these are a naked 6, 8 pair based on the fact that they see all of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's using the whole digits don't repeat business. So these two digits I'm just going to note for the future are those two digits. And we have a very similar story down here where these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 is the only way to make 16. And by the way, if you don't know this, if you don't immediately look at a 5-cell 16 cage and think 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, well, one thing that means is that you're not as degenerate as many of us who have been doing this for a long time. But Sudoku Pad includes a little calculator for killer cages that will tell you, so you can see if you look up above my head right now, that it is telling you that that's the option. Or if I click the 10 cage, you can see it'll tell you, hey, these are the 4 options for that. And so on. So these cells, funnily enough, are from 5, 7, 8, 9. These are from 6, 7, 8, 9, which is interesting. Oh, these are 6, 7, 8, 9 for sure, because those are the only ways to make 15. So these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ooh, that's getting suspicious. This is also getting suspicious. All kinds of things are getting suspicious. It's true that these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But it's also true that in this column that there's 3 high digits and there's the 4th high digit. So this is from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because of that. Of course, this is a 5 cage, so it comes from 1, 2, 3, 4. So we've got a bunch of those sorts of things hanging around there. This is, of course, from 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, it would be very interesting if these two 5 cages were different kinds of 5 cages, because if they were, they would immediately force this to be a 5. Now, beautiful spot from J40, which is going to get us a digit, which is that these two 15 cages are different flavors of 15 cage. Because if they were the same, it would be 3 digits that were only from 2 digits in the row. So this, in fact, sees 6, 7, 8, 9. So this is a 5. And so we can do our 5 dance. Ba-boop-ba-doop. Woo! Ba-doop-ba-doop. Wah! Ba-doop-ba-doop. Wah! Ba-doop-ba-doop-ba-doop-ba-doop-ba-doop-ba-doop-ba-doop. Wah-ha! Thank you, Zach. Thank you. So that means the 5 cages are the same. That is a good point. Because that digit is not in either of them. I'm not quite sure exactly how I want to do my coloring yet, but I am going to color these so that I notice all of that going on. There's definitely the last yellow digit in this 10 cage in the row. This is going to be a coloring nightmare, I can tell. I love it. Okay, so this is not a 5, by the way. That's because of that. A little anti-night would really brighten the place up. Well, anti-night is in chat, so that's almost having anti-night in the puzzle. I'm wondering if I want to undo my greening and actually color this 10 cage yellow. I think I do. So I'm going to mark that these are the same digits as these in an unconventional way by randomly using the pen tool to make a marking that I won't remember what it means. And the reason for that is that I want to mark this 10 cage as yellow because there are 2 yellows and each yellow has a low that it goes with in order to make 10. And so that yellow low is here, which means these are the non-yellow lows. These are the digits that sum to 10 when combined with the purple 6, 7, 8, 9, which means, as noted, that this cell is a yellow 1, 2, 3, 4, which means that these are a purple 1, 2, 3, 4. So these are both yellow. These are both purple. And because those are both purple, these are both yellow. Because these are both the purple high digits, so there are only yellow high digits left going on there for what that is worth. Now, it's been pointed out that there's a... Oh, the yellow 789 could be here, though, doesn't it? Oh, no, it can't be. Okay, so I see. So people are asking about where's the last high yellow in this box, and I was thinking that they were telling me it had to go there because obviously it couldn't go in here. But actually, no, it can't go there because both the high yellows are there. So in fact, the high yellow goes in here. And so it's a 6, which means neither of these are 6. And that means that this is a 4-6 cage. Because 6 must be a yellow digit now. And if 6 is yellow, that means that yellow is 6, 9, and purple is 7, 8. Oh, and so we get a digit. Oh, no, we already have a digit. Sorry, we already have a digit here. But yellow is 6, 9. So that is 8, 7. And these are, again, not 4 or 1. These are 2, 3, and these are 2, 3 as well. So this is 1, 4 to make that all work out. So we've got all of that. These are still purple, so they're still 7, 8. Like that. So that's a 9. I should have seen immediately, but saw very slowly instead. Yeah, the 4, 6 in row 8 does see some stuff. So these aren't 4. Over there. This isn't a 2, 3 because it sees a 2, 3 in the row as well. The other yellow 1, 4 is kind of interesting. We have a similar deal where these 2 digits are these 2 digits that I think I should look at. I'm going to make those orange. These 2 digits and these 2 digits are the same. So this digit, conveniently, this is a naked single. Because it sees, I think, is it not? Maybe it's not, sorry. Well, let's just write out what it could possibly be. I thought it was going to be a naked single 7, but I don't think it quite sees all of these digits like I thought it did. But if it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, it needs to show up in both of those, which is, I don't know if that's a problem or not. Could be a problem. Who knows? We'll find out. The purple 7, 8 in row 9, by the way, this is 1, 2, 3, 4. The purple 7, 8 in row 9 goes here. I am being told. Ah, okay. So if this is 1, 2, 3, 4, where would it be in box 7? So I had the right idea, yeah. So if this is 1, 2, 3, or 4, it goes there, and so that rules it Sudoku logically out of there and there, and then by the diagonal there and there. Okay, so my instinct was right, and I missed it. So the point is, this is purple, and it's a 7. Because if it were 1, 2, 3, or 4, it would be unable to be placed in here through the magic of this 15 and 16 cage nonsense. So this 14 cage doesn't have a 7 in it. By the way, this lets you do these sorts of things if you are into that kind of thing. This 16 cage doesn't have a 7 in it either. Okay. We can mark the green pair in column 3. I am being told. Because unbeknownst to me, there's a quintuple in column 3. So these are 6, 7, 8, 9. And so the green pair in column 3. Okay, this is a much easier way, I think, to see the thing that I was supposed to see. Maybe not quite, actually, because I don't think I can do the same with the orange pair yet. But yes, okay. But I can do the same trick. If this is 1, 2, 3, or 4, then that digit needs to appear both in green and orange, and it certainly can't, because those would both appear there. So this is not 1, 2, 3, 4. It is 5. I agree there. So this is unfolding very unsymmetrically, because the 6 is in this box, but the 5 is in this box. So that gives us a 1, 2, 3 triple here, which makes that a 5. I kind of thought that was going to be a 5 at the end of the day. I don't know why. It was just seemed more 5-ish than the average digit. This digit is yellow just by magic, so it's not 2 or 3. Also, there's a 2, 3 pair in the row, but why do it that way when you could do it with color? I know the 4 in this column is here because these are a 1, 2, 3, 4 quadruple, and that's not a 4. So these aren't 4. And those aren't 4. Column 1 also has a 2 or a 3. That's true. That 2, 3 pair looks at that. And so this is 1, 4, or 5, I believe. If I... that's also not 2, 3. So there's a 1, 4, or 5 in this cage, which I guess we have that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Definitely got a 9 up here for whatever minuscule amount that means. Not a lot. Let's see. Is it too late for it to turn out this was supposed to be a set break-in? I think it's probably too late, but you never know. It's never too late to use set, I suppose. Let's see. So you'd be like, oh, wait, I saw Jay Dyer made a really good point, but I didn't use it. But then I did, in fact, use it because Jay Dyer's point was about this pair. So that digit's orange and one of these is orange, right, is the way that this ends up working out. So there's definitely an 8 or a 9 in here. Annoyingly, the 8 and the 9 aren't lined up, so it's either like that's a 9 or one of these is an 8. Not enough puzzles use set for the very last step. Yeah, that's true. I would love to have like an almost like a little like 6-digit deadly pattern resolved by set at the end. Why not? Oh. Which digit in box 9 is orange? The digit in box 9 that is orange is a 1, because just 1 is up here. So there is no 1 over there, no 1 there. So one of these is a 1. So these aren't 1. No. So these aren't 1. So one of these is 1. So that's not 1. So it's purple. A fact which is assuredly going to be very useful, let me tell you. Let's see. Removes 1s from box 4. Oh, right. Which makes that a 5, because now the 1 is there. Sorry, I went 1 too few. I didn't notice enough steps in the thing. It was sort of all the dominoes tumbled, but then I missed a domino. So that's in fact the 5, because it's not a 1 anymore. That's the purple 2, 3. That's now a yellow 1, 4. And now both yellow 1, 4s are spoken for in box 2. So that's now a 5. Don't tell me I could have also just done that by looking at column 2 and asking where 5 went, but we don't talk about it. Okay. Very nice. Okay, so now, as is being pointed out by Carl, 5 has been Sudoku-logically forced into the 10 cage. And so this is a 5 with a 1, 4 or a 2, 3. Now, this cell is not 1 or 4. That's cute. Okay, so this cell can't be 5 because there's a 5 on the diagonal, and it sees this 1, 4 pair in the column. So, oops. So it is 2, 3, which means that this is a cage with a 5 and a 2 or 3, so it needs 2 2s or 3s. And so this digit is purple. And one of these is purple and one of them is green. So these are a purple-green pair, if you will. That was snazzy. Let's see. Very, very slick there. That flourish was good. Okay. I really feel like I'm supposed to ask myself if this is really able to be the purple 2, 3 or not, but I have absolutely no idea how to decide whether this is the purple 2, 3 or not. I probably need some ketchuping that I have not done to understand whether this is the purple 2, 3 or not. Being asked about 5 in box 6, which is definitely in one of these two cells, I suppose. Unfortunately, one of those is in the 14 cage and one isn't. Row 8, column 3 has only one spot on the diagonal. Gorgeous. Okay, so let the ketchuping begin, because this cell, this cell, that cell, we know those are the same already. It's the 2, 3 that's up there. But where does this go on this diagonal? Well, it can't go in this box, and it can't go in this box. So it has to go in this box, but that's a 2, 3, 5 triple. So therefore, that is the green circle 2, 3. Oh, if that's a 5, I need these two to sum to 9, but they can't sum to 9 as 4, 5, 3, 6, 2, 7, or 1, 8. Wow, beautiful, Josh. So yeah, if this were 5, I'd need these to sum to 9, but conveniently by the row pencil marks, every way of summing to 9 has been eliminated. So this is a 5. Which has placed the other 2, 3, which is going to allow some further coloring of 2, 3s. So that's an X, that's a circle, and that's an X. For whatever that is worth. Now, I'm not going to claim that I think it's worth very much. Oh, right. Green ketchup circle is here. So yeah, so green ketchup circle is definitely here. Speaking of green ketchup, I saw a really unsettling product the other day, which is I saw I think it was on Twitter or something. I saw someone showing off clear ketchup, which because the ketchup that people make has so little to do with plants, it doesn't have any natural color at all. So they just made it in clear without putting dye in it, which I found very viscerally upsetting. And it did not make me hungry to think about. Okay. I have made Selena hungry, however, with all this talk of clear ketchup. Okay, I am being told that this can only be 6. So let's mark in everything it could be first. So it's not 8 because it's got an 8 looking at it. If it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, then the question is, where does it go in box 7? And so the point is, if it's 1, 2, 3, 4, it goes in there and it goes in there. So it doesn't go there, there, or there, and it doesn't go there or there. And so now it has to be one of those, and that doesn't work. So this is a 6. I endorse this message, and that's a 6. 6s are yellow. That was a great spot, Tigarian. Let's see. If this were a 2-3, it would be XE23. Ah, okay. So here's a fun fact. One of these two cells is XE23, so this is a 1. Because wait. Did I screw something up? I don't think so. Oh, sorry, I filled in a digit that I was not supposed to fill in. I see. Okay, yes. Sorry. It wasn't the filling in the 6 that was the problem. It's still true, though. One of these is the XE23. And whichever of these is the XE23. This sees both Circly23 and XE23, so it's a 1 and that's a 4. So that's a 1. This is purple. This is yellow. That was cute, by the way, the diagonal usage there. So this is the XE23. This is the yellowy 4, not bluey 4, yellowy 4. So now these digits are something. They're not 2 or 3, so they are 4, 8, and 9. That digit has become a 4. Meaning that these are 1, 9, meaning that none of those are 9, meaning that this is a 6 and that's a 9. So we've got all of that. Yeah, Plonk Time, I think you saw that this was 1, 9 way before I got to it, but I didn't see how. Was there some particular way that you saw that, that I should have seen sooner? Probably there was, I'm going to guess, that something I was supposed to see sooner. Let's see, I could start coloring the 7/8, but or subcoloring the 7/8, but I'm not sure I want to. Let's see, these cells are, let's see, this one's not 8. Oops, or in the corner. It's not 1 or 4. So this is 2, 3, or 9. This is 2, 3, or 8. This is 8 or 9. Okay. See, okay, so now I get at most 1 of 2, 3, and 4 in this cage, which is, I'm realizing, not that restrictive. It eliminates 3, 4, 9 as a possibility. If there's a 9, the 9 is exactly here. Neither of those is 1 or 9. So there's not a cage. So it's not this cage that has both 1 and 9 in it. Let's see. So there's always an 8 or a 9. I'm being told it can't have 9 at all. Oh, it always has a 2-3 just by examination. There's always a 2-3, and so that 2-3 is there. And so now it definitely doesn't have a 4 now, but I've already gotten rid of 4. So where do 1 and 4 go in the box? I am being asked very wisely, given that they can't go in here. And so the 1, 4 in this box actually are forced into these cells exactly. By the way, these are yellow. So 5 and 9 are down here. People are pointing out just by... No, sorry. I don't know if 9's down here. Yeah, so these aren't a 5-9 pair. This digit... Maybe I should just write in what this digit can be, because this digit can't be 2 or 3, and it can't be 1. So this digit is a 6 or an 8. So it's not this version that doesn't have a 6 or an 8 in it. So we have that. And it's not... Oh, it could be this version with both a 6 and an 8, couldn't it? I think so. And I think this still has tons of options. Row 3, column 6 isn't 8. This was an 8. I'd need a 2, 5, or 3, 5. Oh, people want me to just mark this cell. Okay, so this is not a 2, 3. It's not a 7, 8. It's not a 1. So this is a 5 or a 9. That's where people kept talking about 5 or 9, and I had no idea what they were talking about. People are talking about this cell being 5 or 9. So the point is that cell's always odd. This cell's always even. Odd plus even is odd. So therefore this needs to be odd in order to get to an even total. So that's a 3, a 5, and an 8 is what people are trying to tell me. Yeah, I missed the memo on the fact that this cell was bivalued. Is the thing that everyone in chat knew it, but probably not everyone in chat, but many people in chat knew it and were talking as though I had observed it, even though I had not, in fact, actually observed it. So that is the circly 2-3. So that is the XE 2-3. That is the yellow 9. That is the purple 8. So this is the XE 2-3. So this cell now sees both 2 3s, so it's a 1 4. Oops. Or it's gray black. Take your pick. It is yellow. That is not an 8 anymore. It has been pointed out that these are 4 9 now. This is not a 3, because one of those two is a 6. There's no 6 in this cage anymore, because 6s now look at it for what it is worth. It does not have both 2 and 3 in it, because it doesn't have the circly 2 3 in it at all. Let's see. Oh, this cell is purple, I should probably note. Once I see that cell's purple, I realize that this is a naked single. because it's not 1, 2, 3, or 4. This is a naked 8. Okay, that would have been much easier than the thing I was doing. But we'll call it good anyway. We'll say I was exploring or something. This is a 2, 4 to finish off because it can't be a 1, 5. So these are 2, 4, but that one can't be 2. So this is a 4, and that's 2. And that is going to resolve all of our things, because now 2 is XE green ketchup. So circly green ketchup is 3. And XE green ketchup is 2. And we can get rid of our ketchupy coloring. Boop, doop, doop. So that is a 2. Okay, so this is a 6, which is yellow. Oops, which is yellow. This is then going to be purple. This is going to be yellow. That's going to be yellow. So that is 4 and 9. And 1 and 4. 1 and 9. 6 and 3. 1 by itself. So that is 1 and 4. And 2. 1 and 4. Hey, Menu, how are you doing? I hope you are doing well. This has become a naked single. I'm going to just paint the world in pencil marks now, as we so often do. So this is now apparently a 9. Shockingly, it got resolved by the umpteen digits in its row. That is purple. That is purple. So that is a 2, a 6, a 1 is yellow, a 9 is yellow. That's going to be purple. So let us fill that in. 1 and 9. That is going to be a 7. This is going to be a 6, which is yellow. It's funny, this was listed as being 4 stars. I think I would have guessed 3 based on the process of solving it. But I think I'm just getting jaded. This is not yellow. Because this isn't purple. This is yellow and that's purple. This is 1 and 8. It's possible that the coloring is not actually helping at this point. It's possible. I will begrudgingly admit this possibility. Okay, and so that is going to be a yellow and a purple. 7, 6, 8. May or may not. Yeah, the 9. Yeah, we need some sort of version of set that uses this cell. Row 4, column 9. I did get row 4, column 9 before the tree. I think I'm ready to tree. I should clean up these before I tree. Oops. Clean up these or leave a random stray border there would, I'm sure, be very upsetting. All right, so the betting tree is yellow, first of all, and second of all, it is a 9. So congratulations to all the 9 bettors out there. May all your betting tree wishes come true. That was very fun. I liked that a lot. And I was glad that we got to use earnest low-digit counting. I guess, so I think it would have if... It would have taken me a long time if I think Carl had not spotted that this cell being 1, 2, 3, or 4 broke this box. That was this. I bet that was the step that got this up to 4 stars, because that was pretty tricky. Although then once we understood it, then we got to use the same idea a bunch of times, which was very cool. But I think that was sort of the moment that was really tricky to see, was how this was sort of impacting that with the diagonal. This definitely felt like it made very, very good use of the diagonal part of the diagonal puzzle. So I found that to be quite enjoyable. Alrighty, I think I'm going to wrap up stream there for today. Thank you so much to everyone for hanging out. I'll be back on Sunday. Please like the stream. If you've not yet liked the stream yet, it makes a huge difference. We greatly appreciate all of you who do that, and greatly appreciate this opportunity to hang out with you. I'll be back again on Sunday, so in a couple days, so you don't have to worry too long for your Zeta fix. And then shortly after that, Tristan will be streaming on Tuesday. Remember, Sunday, we have special guest Tall Cat. So I look forward to solving some stuff with Tall Cat. It should be fun. Thank you to everyone who supports the stream in any sort of capacity, including those of you especially who support it financially. It is greatly appreciated. If you want to support the stream financially, you can do that for as little as $5 a month by clicking the join buttons by clicking the join button down below, and that'll get you a little windmill next to your name, and it'll get you access to all the Zach emotes, including the soon to be released Zach with a Santa hat. So if you want to be able to spam the Zach with a Santa hat emote, that is a great way to do it. So thank you to all of our supporters. We really do value and cherish all the contributions we get, which is why we thank all the supporters every time on all the sort of splash screens and everything. You can see the names of all the people who support. A lot of people, by the way, choose to support on Patreon, which is totally okay. It doesn't get them the emotes because sadly YouTube won't honor Patreon subscriptions for whatever reason. It's like Google wants money or something. But we thank everyone and are happy for all of your support. And last but not least, I like to end by thanking the Turbines, the people who donate at the top level. So those are David, Nordy, Franco, Daniel, Danita, and Nell. Thank you so much. And thank you for the very generous donation today. Thank you so much to everyone. Have a wonderful day, Plunk, Constant, and everyone else. Thank you, and I'll see you on Sunday. Bye for now.